I do not look presentable. Oh my god, it's a Knuckles review. Who cares? You can tell I'm a YouTuber who's into nerd stuff because I have so much random merchandise on my table with an image of the show I'm reviewing on my screen. Now, I'm sure that a lot of you who watch my videos thought that my next video was going to be my review on Dragon Ball Z Kai Season 4, but that's coming soon. Hopefully, it should be my next video. If not, it'll be the video after that, because I also want to do a video on the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer, because that was really good. But we're not talking about Marvel. We're talking about my favorite blue boy, Sonic. Well, actually, we're not talking about Sonic specifically. We're talking about the little red guy. Actually, I have, if you guys want an update on my Dragon Ball situation, I started reading the manga. Hang on. I know this is Dragon Ball Super, and I'm not on Dragon Ball Super yet. I haven't read this, though. I have the Dragon Ball Z manga, just not in this room, but this cover looked cool, and I really like Bardock. I even got this cool SH Figure Arts Super Saiyan Blue Goku. I know, that's Dragon Ball Super, and I'm not there yet, but it looked so cool. Maybe I should actually start talking about what the topic is. Hang on, I have something that's good for the background here. Hang on. Much better. Much better. So, what are we talking about today? Before I go any forward, this is an unscripted review. I finished the show like 20 minutes ago, and I just wanted to get my thoughts out. Today, we are talking about the Knuckles Paramount Plus series, which is a spin-off from the two Paramount Sonic the Hedgehog live-action films. Now, there was a lot of build-up to this show. This show was announced before the second Sonic movie even came out, and its original release date was sometime last year. I think it was supposed to come out during the fall or winter of last year, but then there wasn't even an official statement of a delay or anything. It just didn't come out until we got the trailer, where it was announced that it'd be coming out this April. It's April 26th. As I just said, I finished watching the series just a few minutes ago, and I feel like the main reason that it didn't come out when it was originally supposed to, it could have been something going on behind the scenes of Sonic Movie 3, but I think one of the major reasons that this didn't come out during last year was Sonic Prime. I feel like Sega didn't want two separate Sonic shows on two separate streaming services going on at the same exact time, because that would cause just a little bit of confusion. Because if someone would be like, hey, did you see this new streaming Sonic show? They'd be like, okay, which one? Speaking of Sonic Prime, I liked Season 3. It was the best season. That's right, I said it. A lot of people didn't even think Sega and Paramount didn't even care about this show, because it just took so long for the trailer to come out. I think they showed that Sonic Movie 3 logo reveal before they even released the trailer for the show, and everyone was like, oh, they're just going right into the promotion for Sonic 3. They're skipping out on this. Thankfully they didn't, because this show was actually pretty good. This morning when I looked on Twitter to see what people thought of the show, people don't like it. Well, okay, people like it, but there's a group of people who just they hate it, or people who like it but hate a lot of aspects about it. So I should say this right now, this is going to be a spoiler review, but I'm going to be doing a spoiler-free section here in the beginning, and if you haven't seen the show, I'll let you know when the spoilers are about to come up. So what is the Knuckles Paramount Plus series about? It's about Tails. So basically, it takes place, I'm guessing, just a few weeks after Sonic the Hedgehog 2, because in the first episode, we see Maddie rebuilding the house from when Knuckles actually attacked the Wachowski house in Sonic 2. And it's basically Knuckles. No! How do I get this to stay up? Hang on. Oh, we're gonna be doing a lot of that. And it's basically kind of the aftermath of Sonic 2, as we see how Knuckles and Tails are now living with Sonic and the Wachowskis, and Knuckles is having trouble adjusting to life on Earth. And it gets to the point where he gets grounded by Maddie, and he gets so mad he just leaves with Wade to train him for bowling. I know that sounds boring, but it was a really funny plot line. So yeah, kind of like how Sonic Movie 1 was a story about Sonic connecting with Tom, this is about Knuckles connecting with Wade. A lot of people have made jokes about this just being Wade's spinoff. And yeah, Wade does get a lot of attention, but it's still a show about Knuckles. And there's only really one episode where Knuckles isn't the center of attention. At least for the most of it. Also, if you're watching this show hoping to see more of Sonic and Tails in this universe, don't watch this. Sonic and Tails are only in episode 1, and I think that's a good thing because this is a show about Knuckles. If Sonic and Tails were in like the whole thing or in like half the amount of episodes, they would overshadow Knuckles. Like, everyone would be talking about, oh, here's how Sonic's forehead looks more wrinkly this time. Seriously though, what is going on with Sonic's forehead? Also, James Marsden as Tom just wasn't in the first episode. Maddie said that he was like out of town, but I think they just couldn't get James Marsden. I think James Marsden was actually filming another show around the time they were filming Knuckles, so that's probably why Tom wasn't in the first episode. But yeah, Knuckles sets off with Wade to train him for a bowling competition, while Knuckles is being hunted down by this guy named the Buyer who worked for Dr. Robotnik and these two like gun agents. I think their names were Agent Mason and Agent... Oh, what was her name? Hang on, I know it was something that's like hard to say. Knuckles show... Alright, cast. What's her name? How do you say that? Agent Willoughby. Agent Willoughby, I think that's what her name is. Yeah, so these two gun agents named Agent Mason and Agent Willoughby are hunting down Knuckles for the Buyer, so the Buyer can use his powers to power his, like, machines. Basically, he's discount Dr. Robotnik, and, like, they obviously weren't gonna be able to get Jim Carrey for this show. Even if they could, it wouldn't make sense if Jim Carrey was gonna be Dr. Eggman in this show because of how Sonic Movie 2 ended and how they're gonna utilize his character in the third movie, which, oh my god, he's gonna be Fat Eggman in Sonic 3. To kind of, like, end this, like, spoiler-free section off, the action, I will give it this, the action for the show is really good. Knuckles has some really cool fight scenes, and even Wade gets some fight scenes, which, like, okay. A lot of people have problems with Wade throughout the entirety of this Paramount Sonic universe. I like Wade. I'm glad he was in this show. I really like Wade. I think he's funny. We do dive a lot into Wade's backstory and, like, his family dynamic with his mom, sister, and his dad. Which, yeah, it was a bit much. It was a bit much. Probably my biggest problem with the show. But it was fun. It was fun. I liked it. I liked that storyline. If you think that this is going to be essential to the plot of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, don't. This is very inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. At least I think it is. And I think that's a good thing. The current state of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like, you need to watch this many shows and this amount of movies and read this comic to understand this one movie. And I'm so glad that this show isn't like that. It's a streaming original. Not everyone has access to streaming services. So I'm really glad that this isn't going to be plot relevant to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Okay, to close out this spoiler section, should you watch this series? If you are a Sonic fan, give it a shot. If you like the games, if you like Knuckles, like if Knuckles is your favorite character, you just really like Knuckles, I'd say give it a shot. If you don't like it, it's only 6 episodes. I'd say watch it through to the end. But if you're specifically a fan of the Paramount Sonic movies, definitely check this out. It's something that you'd like. Now to get into the spoilers, and all you people who haven't seen the show yet, leave! Also, hit the subscribe button, please, on your way out. I'm kidding. Or am I? I'm gonna kind of go episode by episode and, like, give my thoughts on each episode. So, episode 1, The Warrior. I'm just gonna say this first. It's the best episode in the show. At least I think. I think so, yeah. We start out with Knuckles training in the mountains of Green Hills. He's doing his own thing. He's doing an obstacle course and a really fun action sequence. And he passes by a sign, it spins, and it's like the thing from Sonic 3 with, like, his, like, victory pose. I thought that was really cool. And then, like, the first Sonic movie, which this was a really cool callback to, we get a monologue, like an opening monologue from Sonic as it freeze frames on Knuckles, just like how the first movie started. And Sonic just recaps the events of the second movie. And there's this really funny bit where Sonic's like, oh yeah, I totally defeated Knuckles in our first fight. And it just shows the clip of Knuckles totally beating Sonic. And Sonic's like, why are you showing this footage? Stop that! But yeah, it was nice. And then we basically transition into, uh, we see like the Wachowski family house getting fixed up by a bunch of contractors, and Knuckles thinks that they are invading their home. So he goes and beats them all up, and yeah, Maddie gets mad at Knuckles. And then we get this scene where Maddie's talking to Sonic and Tails on like how to deal with Knuckles, what's going on. And Sonic talking about how he had to like figure things out on his own, and like how they need to be kind of like, they need to take their time with Knuckles so that he can adjust. Are you kidding me? So as I was saying, Sonic is going on about how it was like difficult for him to adjust to human life, especially like being on his own. And how he's saying like they should take their time with Knuckles, give him his own time to like process everything in this new Earth world. Also, Tails has a plane bed, like Sonic had a race car bed, but like Tails having a plane bed, it's too cute. Knuckles' bed is a truck. I might be able, I'll find this out later in editing, I might be able to show you guys photos and clips from the show, but I know Paramount can be really weird about those things, so maybe I'll only be able to show like clips from like trailers and other clips that have already been released, but we'll see. So Sonic gives Knuckles advice to like make himself at home, do his own thing, and relax. Knuckles takes that the wrong way and completely destroys the house that they were already trying to fix. And he pits their dog Ozzy up against their mailman, and Sonic is like, dude, what are you doing? So Maddie grounds Knuckles. Knuckles is obviously upset, and we get a really like, I don't know how to explain. We get a little cute scene between Sonic and Knuckles where Sonic is explaining what Knuckles can do while he's grounded, and Sonic does TikTok dances. Sonic the Hedgehog, with a ring light, which is what I'm using right now, is doing TikTok dances. And from what I've seen on Twitter, this man was dancing to Hatsune Miku music. That was the worst part of the show. I never want to see Sonic do a TikTok dance again. So Knuckles is like, he gets all emotional, he's like, Echidna elders, guide me. And then Pachacamac comes out of nowhere. If you don't know who Pachacamac is, which I think I'm the only person on this planet who knows who Pachacamac is, by name at least. He was like that, he was the like Echidna tribe leader in those flashback sequences from Sonic Adventure and the Sonic X anime. And those were his only appearances ever. And he's played by Christopher Lloyd in this show. What? When I heard that Christopher Lloyd was joining the Sonic universe, I was like, oh, this better be for Sonic 3. He better be playing Gerald Robotnik. And it said the Knuckles show, and I was like, oh, he's probably just going to be playing some, like, random guy. But no, he's Pachacamac. People thought they were retconning what happened in Sonic 2 and, like, how Knuckles isn't the last Echidna, but no, this is the ghost of Pachacamac who's, like, trying to, like, guide Knuckles. And Pachacamac says, Knuckles, Wade's training for a bowling competition, go help him. This is the plot of the show. So we cut to Wade training with his bowling team, and he gets kicked off because he didn't get a strike. Did you know that they made that one minigame from Wii Sports a real thing? So obviously Wade is upset because he really likes bowling. So then Knuckles shows up and he's like, hey, I'll take you to Reno. Let's go bowling. I'll train you. And Wade's like, okay. And then this is where we cut Agent Mason and Agent Willoughby. I got her name right. Yay. Agent Mason and Agent Willoughby, they are gun agents. And they see that Knuckles has left Green Hills, and like something that was a really like fun choice of words is like they're like saying like each town is like, oh, this zone and this zone, and they're saying, oh, Knuckles left the Green Hill Zone. Come on, that was actually a pretty like neat little reference. But something that is like to know is that Gun is still like keeping tabs on Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. They're still like, it seems that they're still like iffy on like if they can trust Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles or not. I'm just gonna refer to them as Team Sonic because they have trackers on all of them. Or at least they're like somehow tracking them because their powers. I don't know how they'd be able to track Tails though, because those like electricity powers that Sonic and Knuckles have. Tails doesn't have that. Tails does have powers, but just not ones like Sonic and Knuckles do. But there was one gun agent who seemed like less worried about it, and that's because he was like a good guy not working for the buyer. And then they send him to the Mushroom Planet. Which, how do these guys have the rings? Like, they use the like portal rings to send this gun agent to the Mushroom Planet. And my question is, how did they get these? I do kind of have a theory on that. So, it was said that the buyer, who's the main villain in the series, he worked for Dr. Robotnik. And there is a scene in the second movie where it was the Siberia chase scene where Sonic drops all of his rings and loses them. So, my theory is either the buyer or some of Robotnik's badniks actually retrieved those rings, and these are the rings that Agent Mason and Agent Willoughby are using. Or they could just have rings, but I think they're Sonic's rings that Sonic dropped. Knuckles and Wade, they're on a road trip, and they stop at a bowling place to train. And that's when Agent Mason and Agent Willoughby show up. Get a really cool fight scene in the "Do you think I need your power" reference. That was really fun. Also, that's Kid Cudi as Agent Mason, which, like, okay, that's pretty cool. But, oh, come on, how do I get this up? So episode 1 just ends with, like, Knuckles fighting the gun agents, and he gets captured by them. That's how it ends. I liked it, though. I liked episode 1. Episode 2 is titled, Don't Say I Was Never There For You. I think that's the title. It basically just picks up where the last episode left off, and Wade is now going to save Knuckles from the gun agents. And I'm going to kind of glaze over this episode a bit, because it's just a bunch of, like, Wade funny moments while he's trying to save Knuckles, and that's really it. Still good episode, though. Really funny, great moments. And Knuckles glides, which, like, that wasn't a thing in Sonic 2, but, like, that's always been a thing in the Sonic games, which I'm really glad is something that they're bringing into the Sonic movies now. And now Knuckles and Wade are on the run, and Wade goes to his mom's house to hide out. And that's where episode 2 ends off. I lost count. Now, episode 3, I forget the title. It's like something dinner. So we are introduced to Wade's mom and Wade's sister. A lot of people have problems with the actress who plays Wade's sister. I thought she was fine. I thought she did a good job. It's just the material that she was given that I had the problem with. Her lines were very iCarly Nickelodeon-like. Has a lot of one-liners and just jokes that aren't really that funny. And I don't blame the actress at all for that. It's the writing. She did what she could with the material, and I respect her for that. And while we're at it, the acting in this show is pretty good. Idris Elba did really good as Knuckles, which that was obvious. That was obvious. I'm actually shocked that they got Idris Elba to come back as Knuckles for this series, but I'm glad they did. Those, like, funny moments that he had in Sonic 2, those are back, and they're great, but you can also have, like, those serious moments. Idris Elba's Knuckles is one of the best part of the Sonic movies, and I'm glad he's just back in the show. As I said earlier in the video, I like Wade, and Adam Pally, I love him too. He did great as Wade in this show. It's probably his best performance as Wade in the Sonic films. And something that I had, like, a problem with his character was, like, how his character was very dumbed down in Sonic 2. In this, he acts like how he was in Sonic 1. A goofy guy, but can, like, have serious moments. Like, he knows when to stop cracking jokes. He was just a dumb goofball in Sonic 2. And I didn't like that, because he wasn't like that in Sonic 1. They just dumped down his character for no reason. I'm glad they fixed that. I'm really glad that they fixed that. And these actors, I'll just get out of the way since they're only in one episode. Ben Schwartz, he's obviously great as Sonic. He's been doing great as Sonic in the past few films. He did great in this show. He's going to do great in Sonic 3. And Colleen O'Shaughnessy, she's been killing it for the past 10 years. She kills it now. Has it been... when did Sonic Boom come out? 2014 was 10 years ago. What the heck? And then, like the previous two movies, Tika Sumpter was great as Maddie. The banter between her and Knuckles in episode 1 was absolutely hilarious. When, like, she was like, Knuckles, you're grounded. And Knuckles was like, no. And she was just like, say that again, I dare you. And in the little time we got with Christopher Lloyd as Pachacamac, it was good. I liked his performance. But we didn't get too much of him. I forget the name of the actress who played Agent Willoughby, but she did great too. Her little like backstory of like how she like wanted to join Gun to like what was it, like investigate extra like terrestrial threats, and like how the whole thing with Sonic and Robotnik went down in San Francisco, and then they just created Gun and her opportunity compass. I feel like that was an interesting storyline, and she was great. She had really good like chemistry with Kid Cudi, and Kid Cudi also did great in this show as Agent Mason. He had some really like funny moments, and his fight scenes with Knuckles were also really cool. I like those little like fist gadgets that he has that like he can like replicate Knuckles' punching with. And I just said what I felt about with Wanda in what I was talking about with her character there, who's Wade's sister. And then Wade's mom. There were some like emotional scenes with her character, especially when we get to meet Wade's dad. And she also has some really good scenes with Knuckles where she's kind of like expressing like her feelings about like her family dynamic with Knuckles. And when she joined in on the fight scene, in that like house fight scene in episode 3, and Blink 182 started playing, I was like, this is awesome. Knuckles likes Blink 82, guys. Then Wade's dad, Pistol Pete, was this guy from the Princess Diaries. Like, did I say Diaries? I meant to say Bride. That's gotta go in the video, but I'm never gonna live that down. Are you? There's this whole storyline about how he abandoned him, and like there's like abandonment issues there. We'll get into that when we get to the final 2 episodes. But I feel like he did a good job with Pistol Pete as a character. He had really good chemistry with Adam Pally, which I feel Adam Pally just bounces off every actor he works with very well. He's a really good comedic actor, and that's why I really like him. Also, Wade's bedroom has so much product placement. He has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bed that's like a blanket, and then a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like pillow with a bunch of like movie posters, which I'm pretty sure are Paramount movies around his bedroom. I forget which ones there were though, but also with like the Knuckles eating Doritos in episode 1, there's quite a bit of product placement in this show. Which, like, I don't like product placement in my shows, but it happens a lot nowadays. I've just come to accept it. That's all I can really say about episode 3. I thought it was good. I thought episode 3 was pretty good. Then we get to episode 4, the most disliked episode from what I've seen on Twitter. I thought it was fine. Knuckles is in it for 1 minute, and it's a musical. So Wade basically gets kidnapped by his former bowling team because there's like a bounty on him, and Knuckles could rescue him, but he's making this into a lesson so that he can learn how to rescue himself. And Wade goes into like this spiritual realm where he runs into Pachacamac, and Pachacamac initiates a musical explaining Knuckles' backstory, where Wade is dressed up as Knuckles. The opening part of it is really, really fun, because they completely recreated, with like the sprites and everything, Angel Island Zone Act 1 from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and he goes into the Sonic 2 special stage, which that was really fun. And this musical is the story of how Knuckles acquired the Flames of Disaster. That can't be a coincidence, right? If you don't know, the Flames of Disaster are a thing in the Sonic games. In this, they are like, the Flames of Disaster are when Knuckles can light his fists on fire and like punch things and like light them on fire. That is a thing in the games. I think it's in Sonic Adventure 1, and I think it's also in Sonic Adventure 2, but it's not called the Flames of Disaster. The Flames of Disaster are in the Sonic games, but they're a completely different thing. The Flames of Disaster is the monster Iblis, who like destroys the world in like some alternate future, and it's sealed away in Princess Elise. And if you're a Sonic fan and know who Princess Elise is, yeah, we don't talk about her. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Knuckles got this power when fighting a lava monster or something like that. It probably wasn't Iblis, but like it could have been Iblis. Does that mean we could see Silver soon? Wait! Silver Paramount Plus show, please. And then Wade has a duel with this guy on his bowling team, and he wins, and he steals, not like steals, he like wins it in a duel. He takes all his clothes and his bike and his hat, which this guy, he gives this hat to Knuckles, which this guy's hat happens to be a cowboy hat with 3 circles that have stars on them. This is Knuckles' hat from the Sonic OVA movie, and Knuckles wears it quite a bit in this show, which, like, I love that movie. It's not a good movie. Well, it's good, just not as good as, like, other movies like it. It's a decent movie. But I have so much nostalgia around it. I watched it all the time as a kid, and seeing Knuckles wear this hat again, amazing. I love it. Knuckles with a cowboy hat is the best thing ever, and I will do everything I can to protect it. So then we get to episode 5, called... Did I say the title for episode 4? If you guys couldn't tell, this is unscripted. Don't worry, my Dragon Ball review is going to be scripted. Episode 5 is called Reno Baby, where Knuckles and Wade and Wade's mom and his sister Wanda get to Reno so that they can participate in the bowling competition. And that's really most of what this episode is. Knuckles has AirPods. That's my big takeaway from the episode. Knuckles has AirPods. This is where we are introduced to Wade's father, Pete Whipple. And he abandoned Wade while he was in a TJ Maxx. Which, like, that's messed up. So basically, he left his family to become a bowling champion. And the reason Wade's doing this is so that he can, like, reconnect with his father. And it seems okay at first. They reconnect. Everything seems fine and dandy. And then Wade makes it to the finals, so the next day he's going to face off against his father in the finals. And they have this scene where they make up, and I've seen this trope before, where someone who betrayed another character, they make up, and then they're going to betray him again. I knew that was going to happen the moment I saw the scene where they reconnect. Wade is invited to his dad's suite, where he finds out that his dad is working with Agent Mason and Agent Willoughby, and they're holding his mom and sister hostage so that they can get to Knuckles. So they try and get Wade to trick Knuckles into luring him into a trap, and they make sure that Wade is following their instructions by having him be on the phone with them the whole time. So, pretty good episode, but it spent a bit too much time with the bowling stuff. Like episode 4, we could have focused on Knuckles a bit more, but it was fine. I still liked it. Then we get into the final episode, which is called What Happens in Reno Stays in Reno, where we see Knuckles going up to Pistol Pete's suite as he's being lured into the trap, but he dodges all their attacks. Knuckles knew it was a trap because when Wade was on the phone, Knuckles had his AirPods in. The AirPods saved the day. So, Knuckles, he fights the agents, and again, really good fight sequence. And they try to, like, use the rings to, like, suck him into, like, a portal or some sort of trap, but Knuckles hits it right back at him, and they are sucked into the ring portal. And that's the last we see of these two agents. I doubt we'll see them in Sonic 3. Maybe, I don't know. Wade has this key that was given to him by Tom that can unlock any handcuff, and he frees his mom, but then his sister dislocates her thumbs to get out of the handcuffs. Even Knuckles looked at her like, why did you do that? But they think the day is saved, so Wade goes off to finish the bowling competition, and he wins. He defeats his father, and then Knuckles is attacked by the buyer, who's in this big, giant mech. And he takes Knuckles' power from him. And then he takes Knuckles' power from him, and Knuckles is knocked out dead, and Wade comes out to, like, distract him a bit, give, like, a little speech. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a retread of the final fight from the first Sonic movie. Thankfully, it's not. It does have some of the same beats as that fight, but Knuckles wakes up, he uses the Flames of Disaster to, like, fight the buyer, and that mech looks really cool with, like, its tentacles and everything. I thought that looked cool. And Knuckles just drops a giant bowling ball on him. The buyer is dead, never to be seen again. So basically how it ends, Wade gets his trophy, Knuckles is like, Earth is my home, I'm gonna stay here to protect it, and we ended off with Wade and Knuckles heading back to Green Hills. Also, Knuckles never got ungrounded, he just left without telling Maddie, Sonic, or Tails. So as far as they know, he probably just they probably think he went missing. Is this the best Sonic show? No, it's Sonic Boom. I'd say it's the fourth best Sonic show. Above it are Sonic Boom, Sonic X, and Sonic SatAM, but below it are Sonic Prime, Sonic Underground, and The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Those are in no particular order, along with the other ones that I just mentioned. But yeah, it's definitely better than Sonic Prime. And no, I'm not going to make the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse joke. I actually kind of like Sonic Prime. But yeah, in the end, I really liked the series. I thought it was good. Very inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, which is what it should be. As I said, not everyone has a streaming service, so this shouldn't be plot relevant to Sonic 3. You shouldn't have to watch a streaming original show to fully understand the plot of a theatrical movie, which is something that we should really tell Marvel. But hey, X-Men 97 is good. I might make a video on that. I love X-Men 97. But I'll kind of restate what I said earlier in the video. If you're a Sonic fan, check it out. If you like Knuckles, check it out. If you're a fan of specifically the Sonic Paramount movies, totally check this out. It's something that I feel like you're guaranteed gonna like. Not every episode will be the same quality, but I feel like every episode has its own good moments. In terms of like how I would rank it with the other Paramount Sonic projects, I'm still kind of iffy on this because I just finished watching it, so my opinion could change literally tomorrow. It's definitely not better than Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but I think it might be better than Sonic the Hedgehog 1. But we'll see. I'll make a Letterboxd list. Follow me on Letterboxd. Same username. But yeah, that's it. If you feel like it, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my Dragon Ball Z Kai Season 4 review. That couldn't have been more perfectly timed. Oh my god!